Hello, we are back again, and guess what we've got this time? You can probably tell by all of the makeup. I am doing another drugstore versus high-end breakdown of my collection because I got enough comments from people who were like, yeah, do a part 2. Because in the first part, I did an inventory of my basically face products, setting spray, powder, primer, foundation, concealer, bronzer, highlight, blush. And today we are going to be breaking down everything else. So mascaras, eyeliners, eyeshadows, lip products, all that kind of stuff. Hopefully we can get it all in one video. We'll see how long this is. As you can tell, I'm not doing an intro and outro, so we can squeeze more in. But yeah, let's just get started. If you didn't see the previous video, I will link that here. But we are going to start with mascara because that is a huge part of my collection. In the previous video, I actually said that I thought I would have more drugstore products than high-end, and that turned out to be incorrect, but I think it was only incorrect for those categories that I covered, whereas this time I think my products really will be predominantly drugstore, particularly because I have so many mascaras and so few of them are high-end, and same with lip products. I probably have a couple of high-end lip products, but the majority of them are drugstore. It just sort of correlates to how long I've had products, because the more recent ones are more high-end and the ones I've had longer are more drugstore. Okay, I think those are all of the mascaras I had in this bag. I thought I had 5 in here, but no, that looks like that's it. So I'm gonna move these things. There's no mascaras in here. So the overall breakdown of, let's say, this category, mascaras, I think will be like 90 to 10% drugstore. If this is coming as a surprise to you, I guess you haven't watched my previous makeup inventories, I will also link last year's one right here where you can see my full mascara collection. And this is actually getting smaller every year, of course, as I use up mascaras. So it used to be a lot worse. I think I started out with 40 when I first started tracking, and now it's somewhere in the high 20s. So we are making progress. I hope that those are all of my mascaras. I might be missing 1 or 2, but I think this is all of them. So let's do a breakdown of high-end versus drugstore. All right, that's it. All of these ones are drugstore. These ones are high-end. We've got lots of CoverGirl, Maybelline, some Revlon. I think that's pretty much it. There's one Rimmel one, but yeah. And then for high-end, we've got Tarte, Milk, Clinique, Benefit, and Urban Decay. So what do you think? This is my mascara collection. Let's do a quick count for the breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Final numbers, 19 drugstore versus 5 high-end. So it's actually a 79% predominantly drugstore breakdown. I thought it would be more like 90% versus 80%, but there you are. This is my mascara collection. So that's going to skew things very heavily drugstore. But let's move on to the next category, which I think I'm going to do eyeshadows next. You know, I just remembered that I have 2 more unopened mascaras, but they're not here right now, so let's just ignore those. Okay, they're in like this bag I have of unopened products, and some of those things may be decluttered without me ever having used them. Yeah, I'm just not gonna count those as part of my collection. Which ones were even in my makeup bag? I probably should have paid attention to that. Oh, it was these ones. Yes, these ones were in my makeup bag. So I'll put those back in, and let's move on to eyeshadows. I don't know where the palettes that I brought to LA are. Things are kind of chaotic over here because I didn't fully unpack from LA when I repacked for my Disney trip. So that's actually gonna be my next video. I'm gonna be like reorganizing, doing a bit of decluttering and some makeup chores. So stay tuned. But let's just count eyeshadow palettes for now. These are high-end. I think this one's also going to be predominantly drugstore. I think Juvia's Place counts more as drugstore, although, I mean, you know, there's a range, right? I think it's more expensive than ColourPop, but cheaper than Pixie. I don't know what Pixie's categorized as, actually. Okay, I don't even think these all fit. How's that? Okay, so we've got 4 high-end and 8 drugstore. So here's the breakdown: 4 high-end, 8 drugstore. So we've got double the number of drugstore. That is 2/3 drugstore and 1/3 high-end. Again, skewing the numbers heavily at drugstore. No surprise here. There's a lot of these that I didn't purchase. This was decluttered to me from a friend. These 2 I got from Buns. This one and this one were decluttered to me from Shauna. This was decluttered to me by another YouTube friend. I guess that's it. So there's a ton of these that I didn't buy myself. So I almost feel like this is less a reflection of my preferences, I guess. I don't know. I don't find a huge difference between high-end and drugstore eyeshadows. I still love my drugstore ones. So I think that this kind of breakdown will continue on the eyeshadow front. But let's do my single eyeshadows now. I think that is going to skew even more heavily drugstore. Okay, I don't know if we've got any single eyeshadows in here. Oh, got this one Revlon one. And I kind of think that's it. Yeah. Keep in mind I don't have very many single eyeshadows. I don't know. I've never been someone who buys single eyeshadows. So most of these came to me through very miscellaneous means. Oh, what's in this? Nice earrings. That's a surprise. That should probably go somewhere else. I really have to reorganize this thing. That is also going to be in my next video. Okay. I think that's everything. Plus this. Let's do the breakdown. So this actually is not an eyeshadow. This is a highlight, but it's a bit too deep for me, so I use these both as eyeshadows. I don't know where to categorize Pixie. I'm just gonna put it in high-end because if I was buying drugstore, I would not go for Pixie. Even though it's on the low end, like I still, in my mind, that kind of cost I would only spend if I was going high-end. Okay, there we go. Here is the breakdown. So let's count this one as 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually very similar between these two. You might count this as an eyeliner. This is Nude Sticks Magnetic Luminous Eye Color, so it doesn't really say. But I would categorize this more as an eyeshadow simply because it's so chubby. Like obviously I haven't sharpened it in a while, so it would be sharper normally. But it's, you just can't use this as an eyeliner. Like you do not get enough finesse with it. Let's move on to eyeliners next. These just go like everywhere. I need to properly organize this, as I say. These are lip liners, but I might as well take them out now. These are eyeliners. This is eyebrow. I think that's everything I need from here because all the, oh, I guess this eyeshadow primer. All the rest of this I counted last time. I do also have a lip balm. So I'll take that out. Ooh, another eyebrow product. A lipstick. Oh, another lipstick. Okay, that's everything there. And then eyeliners. Ooh, forgot about some of these things, you know? Did I count this concealer last time? I must have. Oh god, this lip product category, we'll get to that later. I will break it down by lip liners, lipstick, lip gloss, etc. Okay, first let's very quickly discuss eyelid primers. So I have 3. I mean, technically, yeah, it's the primary purpose I use this for. This NYX Milk one. And then I have this NYX Glitter Primer. I have the MAC Painterly Paint Pot. And I have the Urban Decay Primer Potion. So very clear on this one. We've got 2 and 2, so 50-50. I think this is the first category that has actually been 50-50 for drugstore and high-end. Here are all of my eyeliners. Okay, you can see there is some variety of colors. I feel like that is kind of new for me. With the addition of these two, a red and a lime green, really brought up the color because otherwise it's basically a lot of blacks. But let's separate it. Again, predominantly drugstore for sure. Okay, I think that's it. This is actually fewer. No, I must be missing at least one eyeliner because you know that brown one that I've been trying to pan forever? Where is that? That's gotta be, oh, found it. I knew there was one hiding. Okay, so we've got 5 high-end and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 drugstore. So not quite as drastic a breakdown as I was expecting. I'll also note 4 of these are double-ended, but I'm just counting them as one product because for most of them, I really only use one side of them. This would have been way different about 9 months ago because I actually did an eyeliner declutter. I will link it here, where I got rid of so many eyeliners and the vast majority of them were just like really cheap e.l.f. or Wet n Wild eyeliners that I just did not like. And so these numbers would have been way different a year ago. But here we are now. I'm much happier with my eyeliner collection now. So let's track that. So this is sort of similar to the eyeshadow palette category because it is size is just about 2/3 the size of the high-end collection size. Yeah, and here's to progress. I'm really glad that this collection is looking better now. I'm happier with it. I wish I had this breakdown from every year, you know, it would be really useful. I encourage you guys all to do this if you are curious about the drugstore versus high-end breakdown because you wouldn't know, right? Like last time I was so off on my expectations of the breakdown, so it's just helpful to actually count the numbers. Some of these will actually go into my daily makeup bag, but I'll deal with that later. It's time to move on to lip products. This is probably the most intimidating category. I'm going to break it into separate categories just because otherwise it's going to be so overwhelming. But let's just get everything out. I'm going to have to track down some products from various bags, I think. I didn't do the eyebrow category, so I have all that stuff here. Let's just do that very quickly. So I have more products in that bag of stuff I have not opened yet, but I'm just going to be focusing on this for now. Is that cheating? Maybe, but hey, I make the rules around here. High-end drugstore. Well, yeah, so in your cash, it's like a high-end drugstore product. Annabelle, Maybelline, Merit, and MAC. So we've got a 3 versus 2 breakdown here. Pretty even split, actually. Finally, moving on to lips. I don't know if you can tell, but like this is just getting dirtier and dirtier the more products I put on it. But let us start with lip liners, the probably smallest category, most manageable, not too intimidating for me to assemble. Ooh, you know what I forgot? I have some new products. Well, not new, but my friend decluttered them to me a while ago and I haven't actually integrated them into the rest of my collection. So maybe I should take this opportunity to do so, especially because, as I mentioned in the video after this, I'm going to be reorganizing. So let's add those incoming products. Okay, they just sat in a little bag here. So there are 2 lip liners and 2 lipsticks. So I'm going to add those here. Add those there. Okay, here are our lip liners. I don't know if any of these are going to be high-end, to be honest. Look how many NYX ones I've got. NYX, 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 Annabelle, Kiko, NYX, 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 and NYX. Look at that. They're all drugstore, and I have no regrets about that because I love my NYX lip liners. I actually don't know if I've ever had a high-end one. Until recently, I haven't been a big lip liner gal. Now I like it a lot better, and even like as its own product without anything else. But for a long time, I just very rarely wore lip liners. But anyways, we have 10 lip liners. They're all drugstore. 8 of them are NYX. One of them is Annabelle. One of them is Kiko. So there's that breakdown. I'm gonna be posting this on Instagram probably just as like visual evidence. Someone said that they were inspired by me and did that, and I was like, wait, why didn't I do that as well? Like, it's better to have photo evidence of it than it is to have this like paper breakdown, which I would, you know, it's just like less accessible. Whatever, I'm rambling here. Let's move on to the liquid lipsticks. I've decided that that is going to be a category, and I think I'm going to count this soft matte lip cream as one of them, even though it's not actually a liquid lipstick, but whatever, I don't want to have too many categories. Okay, here we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and only one of them is high-end. We've got quite a few NYX ones. We've got 2 ColourPop, one more NYX one, but a different kind, and then we've got a Stila, and I didn't even buy this one. This was a present. So again, just as I suspected, a heavily drugstore lip product collection. And honestly, a heavily NYX lip product collection. This is wild. Okay, moving those categories upwards. I think basically everything else I'm going to count in one category except for lip glosses, but I already know I only have 2 of those. So here, oh, there's a hair. Here's one of my lip glosses from Aether Beauty. Here's the other from La Senza. Stick those over there. 2 glosses, 1 drugstore, 1 high-end. Aether Beauty is indie, so it's a little bit more challenging to categorize, but I'm just saying it's high-end. I also have only 1 lip balm, which is kind of wild, but my partner has 3 open at once, so I just use his most of the time. And then 2 lip samples and 1 more lip product container. We've got this one. What was in here before? Oh, you know what? There's one missing. Let me go grab it. Okay. Let's divvy these up. Oh my goodness. There's actually one more missing. This is a duo. I have this in a nude shade. I don't know where it is. So we're just gonna have to count that without it actually being present because I know I still do have it. It's probably in some purse. Oh, did I forget this? Yeah, I totally forgot this as one of the liquid lipsticks. I don't know how that happened. That belongs there. I'm going to have to adjust my numbers. But for now, let's look at this breakdown. Wow, okay, I actually have more high-end lipsticks than I expected. No, this doesn't fit. We're gonna have to keep these on 2 separate levels. Oh my god, I have too many lip products. I already knew that, but this is pretty wild. Okay, and then these 2 lip samples are high-end, so let's count these up. And maybe let's put like with like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I'm just going to count these 2 samples each as 1, even though obviously it's much less. Whatever. They take just as long to use up as a regular full lipstick, I'm telling you. So that's actually wild that I have more high-end lipsticks than drugstore lipsticks, but in the other categories of my lip products, it's much more heavily skewed drugstore. I guess I just really love NYX and was buying everything NYX, and so that totally, you know, sort of shaped what my collection looked like, whereas in the actual lipstick category, I didn't find a NYX product or texture, you know, product line that I loved, because if I had, it would probably all be NYX. So I'm glad that that is not the case. Let's write those numbers down. Okay, another thing occurred to me, which is that in my liquid lipstick category, that is predominantly drugstore, as I mentioned, I only have 1 high-end liquid lipstick, and that is not changing simply because I do not buy liquid lipsticks anymore. That is not a thing that is popular anymore. So that category is just not going to change unless I declutter what I already have. Like it's not going to have a higher high-end percentage ever because I'm not bringing any new things in. Whereas with lipsticks, I am bringing new things in. This one I brought in just a few months ago. Actually, yeah, that's the most recent. 2 of the MAC lipsticks I brought in within the past year, I think. So this category is changing a little bit, whereas that category is not changing. But oh my goodness, that was it. These are all of my lip products. I just put these along the side because it fit a little bit better. But yeah, here it is. This is the biggest portion of my collection. Every year I say I want to get this more curated, and I did a lipstick declutter. I can link that here as well at the beginning of the year, which was very successful, but as you can see, I still have so much. So that is why I'm doing a lipstick project pan this year, which has been very effective. So if you want to watch that, I will also link that series. But now we have to calculate the full breakdown of all the different categories in my collection, because this is part 2, so I'm going to be calculating the drugstore percentage of part 2 as well as adding it onto part 1 and seeing what the result is. So as I say, I expect that despite having a predominantly high-end collection for my face products, that's going to be far outweighed by my lip products, mascaras, etc., just because there's so many more of them. So I did a little breakdown and let's talk about it. So the actual breakdown of all of the products that I talked about today, 41 products that are high-end in all the categories we talked about today: mascara, eyeshadow, eyebrows, lip products, and 71 drugstore, predominantly drugstore, as you can see. So I made an error, but the final breakdown is 65.5 versus 34.4. So predominantly drugstore. And the results last time was pretty similar, but the opposite direction: 65.6% high-end and 34.4% drugstore. So 65.6 versus 65.5, super similar. But as I said, there's far more products in today's video than there were in the previous video. And so of course it works out that I have a higher percentage of drugstore products. And how does that shake out exactly? The total number is 151. That is the total number of products. So we've got 62 total high-end products, 89 total drugstore. I added up today's products and the previous day's products. So these are the final numbers, and the final percentage, give it a guess before I state it, the final percentage is 58.9% drugstore. So, for once and for all, I can say officially that my product is predominantly drugstore. However, not nearly as skewed drugstore as I was expecting. I thought it would be somewhere more between 60 to 65 or even 70% drugstore, but it's getting closer to 50-50. I think my goal would ultimately be, you know, still higher high end, so I would rather have it be a 50-50 split or 40% drugstore, but I'm really happy with the progress that I've made and how much I've decluttered in recent years. I would love to know what you think. I would love for you to do this as well. If you want to turn this into like a tag, you are tagged to figure out the breakdown of your makeup products. Please let me know if you enjoyed this. I will still be doing an inventory video either at the end of this year or the beginning of next year. But, you know, I will still make that fun. I will cover some slightly different things or answer some slightly different questions so that it doesn't feel like the exact type of video, because this was not an inventory. It was just a breakdown between drugstore and high end. But anyways, as you can tell, I am rambling a little bit. Thank you so much for watching this series. Apologies for lack of intro outro. Please admire my Taylor Swift bracelets. And yeah, that's going to be it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye!